Welcome and thank you everyone for joining us for another Twitter Space. Today is August 8th, 2022, and this is episode 22 of the ledgerscale Internet of Value Open Forum. Now, ledgerscale Foundation was founded with two goals in mind. One, we want to provide educational services to not only our community, but to the entire digital asset community, and to help scale up the number of brains that understand how distributed ledger technology works. And two, we intend to one day run hardware to provide infrastructural support to the distributed ledger technology networks that we believe are ESG friendly and running a form of decentralized consensus. We host these spaces Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday starting at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And on Wednesday, we host a focus topic space from 5 to 6. If I could just ask if everyone could follow us at Ledgerscale on Twitter, turn notifications on so you know we're going live. And if you could also like the space. So apparently we have a new feature where if you click on the little chat at the bottom right, you can like the space, and Twitter likes that. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, so basically the point is here is to engage the community. So please, everybody, if you have a question, raise your hand. Please do like the space because we got to have or follow the account, because we do got to have a certain number of people before Twitter will allow us certain features or certain like functionality. And yeah, and so it's an open forum. If you're curious about something, I guarantee you other folks are. Please speak up. Don't be like shy about speaking up. Just speak on up. If anybody's like ridiculing you, we'll get rid of them. And then, but if you do speak up, just be cordial, and then welcome to the space.
Awesome. Nice. Fett just joined. Wanted to ask him about Evernote and wanted to see if he opened up a node yet.
I don't know if it's. We were talking about Evernote the other day, but I don't know if it's available right now.
Yeah,
to open up a node. Is it?
The beta is. So, I mean, if you want to participate in the beta, I mean, it depends on, if you have your own server already, like your own rack, I guess it's not a big deal if you have the space. But it's your decision if you want to pay for like a VPS to be able to participate in the beta. Because Evernote will not go live until Hooks, XLS20, and that was another thing off the top of my head I can't remember right now. There's one other thing that needs to happen.
Well, Evernote uses Hooks and XLS20. So both of those have to be approved before it can really sort of hit, the streets, or like whatever you want to say, go live.
Yep. Which, I mean, hopefully we have XLS20 soon, but Hooks, I don't know. It could be a year away. Tony, I'm sorry, you unmiked. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm just posting. It has a lot of info on Evernote, including the airdrops that are scheduled. So I just pinned it up on top. It's gonna be a couple minutes or a couple seconds. Just in case there are anybody that wants to check out more info on Evernote.
Now, the more I learn about Evernote, the more I'm actually impressed. Not only with the folks that they're working with, but the work that they're doing. I think it's a really good. Seems like to me.
I've been following that one too for some time. I know they've been working at it for a very long time with their get and few things that they're providing, which is pretty cool. You know what I mean? What they're building, how they're using it, and yeah, Death, you are correct. It's gonna be a while for them to be able to implement their whole system without having hooks. And I believe the other one was like what was it? Do you know Vet? Was it like federated sidechains or something? There was another proponent that they needed to be forget what.
I think sidechains do not need a proposal, as far as I know.
No, because it would just be a bridge. Somebody just building a bridge. But there is one other requirement, and it was something along the lines of like a digital signature or something. I don't remember. I can look it up though before we end the conversation. I'll go. Who wrote up the whole thing for Evernote? So I'll go just check his thing. I have the Evernote Bible somewhere stored away.
But the Karma is totally correct with XLS20, because you get a registration NFT. This is basically your ID as an NFT, as a node.
Yeah, it's cool. That's how you're gonna have well, at least the beta testers will get their an NFT of the node, right? I don't, when the main node is live, right? Would it still be an NFT or would it just be a host?
I think it will be always an NFT. The registration NFT, it's called. It's how how to make a node unique, basically, in the net problem.
And I was trying to find out, is there a max to this? Is there any max?
Nope. I had today, for example, an issue, and I reported this in their GitHub, and it was apparently something to do with the underlying, which is the XRPL. It was a Ripple D error I got. I don't know what network stuff, whatever. Yeah, I pushed it there. I mean, people are testing it right now. This is the purpose of a beta, right?
I know Ripple in it too is on top of the beta testing.
Yeah,
but man, their WordPress is very very long. They have so much that they have been working on. Man, it's pretty crazy with the Sashimono and the Hot Pocket.
Yeah, I've seen that they want to push a new web page, a better one, with more information and stuff like this. I think this is going to be really good.
I can't wait till they update more as more testing gets done. Because like what I always say, and a lot of us that's been in this space for a long time, I'll say, is that when we are asked to beta test, don't be afraid to go help out. If you don't know how, there's always people going to be in the space that's going to help you out, but they can't really fully test things out if they don't have willing participants to help them out in that area. You know what I mean? And that helps out find bugs and stuff to help better what they're providing. Good stuff.
This is where I start getting nervous, because I'm not exactly the most technical person, more on the, I guess, conceptual level. But some of the stuff, like, to me anyhow, it's intimidating.
It is.
It's test the stuff out.
If you don't have somebody there to tell you what to do at first, it is definitely intimidating, because I don't think I would have figured it out myself. Having to download a way to use my command console for my note and party application. But after doing it now, I think I could probably do a couple more myself.
Do you have a Windows machine?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so you use Putty, probably, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Carmen? Same way as some people that come into this space and hear a lot of the people that speak on here and the words they use. You know what I mean? Like it gets intimidating because some of these people don't understand some of these words. Just as how when we going into something new, like me too, it was intimidating to read upon a note and try to understand it. I didn't understand what they were trying to do until kind of we had to talk about it. And they all share some stuff, and then other people in the community in here that helps me understand, like Big Cat, Ripple in it, some things with I talk with you guys, it's the people who you surround yourself with also helps you out, and being a part of the community makes a very big difference for you to build that courage to get on it and whatever you want to do. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I cannot agree more. Like, there are so many knowledgeable people here in the space, and without them, like, I would also like kind of feel lost in that sense. And see, as much as you probably know or you think you know, you always come across something new and you think like, oh dude, I have no clue what's going on, right? So there is no, yeah.
Sorry, I was able to already get a node.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think
I had also like, as I said, like I had an issue, and I reported this in the GitHub, and people were able to help me out. It's basically
What
just reinstall.
what were the requirements? Because on that page that I sent, I pin up top doesn't say any of that. But yeah, I was
It's
just wondering the requirements and also the white paper.
I think it's not in the requirements, but in the GitHub you can see it says like, for example, you need 2 GB of RAM, you need 2 GB of swap memory, and I think at least 4 or 5 GB of disk space.
Hey
It's very,
Tony,
very low.
look up Scott Chamberlain on Twitter and follow his
Yes.
information.
Wait, 808, you're breaking up pretty bad.
Glad it's
Look up
not.
who?
Scott Chamberlain. He on his page should
Yes,
have all the information you need. With all the requirements and everything in detail on top of his page should have
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm looking him up right now. Thank you, man.
Yes, Scott is the man. And also, if you go to the XRPL Discord by RippleX, they have a separate channel for Evernode. So, for example, if you want to know what's going on, or even if you're not like a node operator or whatever, you just want to know like what's going on, how far are they with stuff, you're gonna find discussions there.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Sorry. But yeah.
That's good though.
Yeah, but very minimal requirements, and yeah, you don't need, like, you have a whole variety of people. Like, some people are running it on laptops. They say on the, for example, in the Discord, they've been saying this. And some people have like very beefy machines. For example, I know that XRPL Labs Zum does have like a huge machine. Alloy does have a huge machine. Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, does everybody here know what Evernote is? I mean, this is, maybe we should go over right now a little bit what we're kind of
Oh
talking
yeah, you
about.
should definitely.
Yeah, I was just about
Evernote is
to
a
ask about
freaking huge thing, man. You should go over it.
It's a rabbit hole, man. Like, I have
Super rabbit hole. I could
I'm
go
so
for days. We could
I mean,
speak
it's
about this
easy,
for
but
days.
it's easy to explain the concept, like what it is, right? Like, it's easy to say what the concept is, right? Because it's a Turing complete smart contract hosting platform, where you as a node can allow people to create smart contracts and access them from your node, at the same time as having the contract deployed to multiple nodes in trusted sources, so the contract won't go down, and have that communicate with the XRP ledger. Right? I think is that a good way to like kind of explain Evernode?
Yeah, it is,
better
man.
than I would have explained
I
it.
would say
Yeah.
so, yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
bringing
think that makes
smart
sense.
contracts and light smart contracts and layer 2's contracts to the XRPL pretty much.
How does the
Well, you're combining two methodologies, right? So you've got the hooks methodology, which is more on the complexity feedback loop, like, transaction 1 triggers transaction 2, triggers transaction 3, right? This is that methodology versus the Turing complete methodology, where you like try to pre-think everything possible ahead of time, and you're combining the two. It's kind of, I mean, it's
Hey,
really
do we
kind of
have
cool.
multi-sig available on the XRPL as a feature yet? I'm not. I don't remember if
Yeah,
that's one.
multi-sig has been around for years and years and years.
I wasn't too sure. I know that they use that too.
Well,
Who
they use hooks, they use NFTs. They're using things that don't even exist yet. So when you want to look at a team and you want to say like, hey, are these guys ahead of the curve? Like they're building with functionality that it's not actually on the main net yet.
It's only on the dev net. That's what's cool. Just like with DevRaj, that's why I'm wondering what he's been working on lately, because he has done a lot of machine learning with RippleNet and a lot of that stuff. And when they brought him in 2021. But yeah, I can't wait to figure out what he's been doing. I think he's supposed to be speaking at Apex, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that.
Scott?
Oh no, DevRaj
DevRaj.
Vardahan. Oh, Vardhan. I butcher his name all the time.
I don't think I know him. Who
He
is
was
his...
hired by Ripple in 2021. Around October, he
Oh,
was brought on.
Okay.
A little before October, he was brought on.
Yeah, Apex is gonna be huge.
I found the white paper. They also got a white paper for Hot Pocket. Anybody can somebody explain what exactly the Hot Pocket protocol?
So as far as I know, it's also like UNL based, right? So you have so you have to understand it's built on top of the XRPL. That means many of the metrics that it calculates based on the underlying, which is the XRPL. So for example, I think we talked about this. For example, I don't know what it is. Like they have moments, I think, right? Moments, and one moment is I think 72 ledgers or something on XRPL, but they do something like this. Yeah, and the Hot Pocket I think is like as it notes in that sense, and but as far as also understood, it's a blockchain itself. This is what's like, it's actually a blockchain itself. It's, yeah, I mean, it doesn't answer really good, but maybe Death Ranger knows more.
I'm sort of getting it, but yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I swear this falls into one of those categories where, like, when I hear it explained, it makes sense, but then I couldn't explain it.
Yeah, totally. Like for deploying smart contracts and with all the instances and everything, that does make sense. They have also like a consensus mechanism within these hot pockets, right? So you have like these trusted nodes, I think. Yeah, I honestly have to dig deeper into that. But this should be like a proof for everyone who is like intimidated to come to speak, right? I mean, like even these things, like we know pieces and we try to put them together on the stage. So
I don't think that, I mean, there's almost nobody out there that really understands. Like that's in some sense why I'm doing these spaces, like because you gotta, in order to understand, you gotta discuss it, right? So, how do you? I mean, and I've listened to the explanation of what Hot Pockets is several times. I still couldn't. And there's more than just Hot Pockets, and I've already gathered that various of they've got like 3 different mechanisms there, and I've gathered that those mechanisms interrelate, and so you got to understand the intertwine, like how that relatedness impacts things or impacts the market or what have you. And it's, yeah, dude, I mean,
they have 3 white papers.
I was just about to say the white papers are up on the link on top. But it says right here, the use of Hot Pocket, Shishimo, and XRP Ledger hooks enables the design and incentivization of the Evernode ecosystem, which is a network of nodes that provides computational resources and any DApp in a low cost and speedy manner. As DApps have become more commonplace in the blockchain space, many issues have been identified that limit ability to scale in a decentralized ways. Evernode is a solution to these issues on the XRP ledger.
And so, to simplify terms of why do we need hooks, for Evernode, and so they decided this, and I'm glad Scott and the team went this route, because in order to keep it decentralized, there are nodes hosting contracts. Without the ability to have one transaction which reoccurs and makes a transaction flow occur, to send the contract out to multiple nodes at once on the structure, keeps it decentralized in that manner. And if not, it would be a hassle to do a transaction. And I don't think I think there's something faulty with having that done. And so that manner they need hooks to make it a decentralized and keep Evernode decentralized. So I like that they.
Well,
The
that's
max
a good
supplies.
point, because one of the things that the dude was saying, I think it was the Scott guy, is that, you know, I guess the contracts basically took the form of like a NFT. So this is why it requires XLS 20D, but it also required hooks because you would do something with that NFT, and and then you do something with that NFT, and then that hook will set off a cascade of transactions that is effectively the business logic. And, you know, that's where the value creation pretty much always comes from the business logic. The fact that you like coded it, fine. But really, it's the design of the business logic where the value is created.
Cody, you had something, right?
I'm sorry.
You had something you wanted to say before something
Oh
Karma
yeah,
said?
I'm reading up because you mentioned about the Evers and epochs. So there's it's up on top, but it says the mass token supply is slated to be about 25 million Evers distributed over the course of roughly 60 years. Node operators are able to receive rewards in Evers every 72 ledger closings on the XRP ledger, which is approximately every 6 minutes. The node rewards will be the highest in the early days of the network and will decrease over time through the use of epochs. Higher early adopter rewards will help to bootstrap the network with node operators, as each additional node added in the nascent days of the protocol will be more valuable. There are 10
But
epochs planned as a means to distribute the Evers token over a prolonged period.
And
There's no airdrop, so yeah.
There's
there
three.
is.
There's three
Oh,
airdrops.
he's
So
doing
the
one
first
now.
airdrop,
Oh,
Yeah,
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 the
yeah, yeah. They
first
do it.
airdrop, the
after
first airdrop is going to be for developers. The second one is going to be for testers, and then the third one is going to be for XRP holders.
Yeah, they say XRP, like I think they do it according to your XRP holdings, right? So
yeah, and
it depends.
just be aware though, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Take this all with a grain of salt, right?
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Where we were a year ago to today, Evernote has changed a lot, and so if
yeah, that's what I was
Yes.
saying. I
here,
remember him saying
yeah.
he wasn't thinking about having an airdrop. He was just
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gonna do
yeah.
it as a
So
reward system. But
hopefully
yeah, but it's pretty
next
cool
time
then.
change,
Yeah, it
because I
evolves.
do at least.
But yeah, with a grain of salt, man. Everything it's crypto. I
Yeah,
love the
absolutely.
project, man. They've been working on it for a very long time, and also produce like stuff, building something that nobody even thinking about. I mean, they're
Well,
innovators. Crazy
there's
shit.
two things to me. They're one, they're working with Richard, and two, they're it kind of looks like a Codius with a token added, which is basically what Ethereum is.
By the way, Karma, it's very good that you mentioned Richard, because for the people here, this is the hooks guy, right? This is the hooks guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got the hooks guy, and working on that. So yeah, for me, it definitely seems. For me, I'm very excited for this. It just makes sense. I mean, they foresee what's coming in the future. I mean, they even themselves say, until there is need or a market for like their service, it will take some time, and it just makes sense. But it makes also sense to build right now, right? So
Yeah, I mean that's really what that's a good way to say it too, right? It's Codius with a token and a decentralized structure, and
They've separated almost a third
so
of the total.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's cool. Go ahead.
Well, so the biggest Ethereum in this case and Evernode is that without the XRP ledger, Evernode doesn't survive. But in the case, they made that the layer one itself, with the token and the smart contract thing altogether.
But one question I do have, like, how do you make this, especially because it's like a token that is deflationary and very low supply, how you make it like still affordable to do it? You don't want to run into Ethereum issues, right? So I'm curious.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say. They even separated about a third of the total token supply just for the airdrops alone.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of the consensus is still like how you're talking about the UNL structure. I think the consensus is still able to be amended, and so maybe that's a possibility to be amended in the future if it needed to be.
Well, no, I mean, if you drop off as let's say you're a hardware, like a server provider, if you drop off, you don't get paid more, right? And
It's even worse. It's even worse, Karma. You need I think you need for your registration and when the mainnet hits, you need to put a lot of errors into like your registration, and if you get kind of
but isn't
you lose it.
that if you're buying I guess like computation or server, whatever the hosting services, I mean, that's when you're buying, right? If you're providing services, it's a different story. I'm pretty sure. But then if you spoof your people and you tell people like, "Oh, I'm going to sell you this, hosting service, but like I don't actually have the capacity or the ability to provide that." And, the buyer only loses a little bit, and and then they don't use that provider anymore because obviously they didn't provide the services. So yeah, it's like it makes a market basically. So so basically from an economic point of view, it makes a market between the provider and consumer of the computation, and then allows the consumer of the computation to spread it out across multiple hosts or server operators or what have you. And that gives you your distributed aspect. Because, if one host goes down, fine. There's still several others running the code, and the service will perform whatever the hell it does, which is desirable. Like, that's the goal, right? Have the service perform what it does. Is this thing working? Or is
It's working. It's working.
No, yeah,
Anybody in the audience, if you want to come up, if you have questions, if you want to change the subject, if you have questions about something else, please feel free to come up.
Yeah. Anybody want to come up? Just come on up.
Oh, I'm glad Echo's here. Perfect timing. She had a topic she wanted to speak about. Hey, Echo.
Hi, friends. Thanks for holding this space.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm just walking around, getting some work done. How long has this space been going on?
It's been I think 30 minutes now. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
We'll probably close it around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
I know there was a topic that you wanted to bring up. I think it was the ETH merge, right? If you'd like to speak about it.
Yeah, that is what I'm looking forward to speaking about. Like now or in the future, I've been trying to study up on it as much as possible, but haven't really gone too in depth yet. And I remember in one of my weekly Wednesday, it came up in conversation. Like we were basically just talking about test nets, I think. And I know that we're expecting another test net merge like sometime between August 6th and August 12th, called perhaps the Gorley Prater merge. And from then, it'll be easier to extrapolate whether or not September 19th is a realistic date for the so-called merge. Um, but you had mentioned like politics, like in groups in the Ethereum and crypto community at large.
Yeah, in a sense, a hidden agenda could look like. Yeah. Yeah, it's this interesting dynamic because, from going from this proof of work model to the proof of stake model, those who hold the tokens are empowered because, structure wise, right, they get to make the decisions on the governance of the network. And so with like the early days, I sold to the who knows who, people who initially funded them to make Ethereum. They hold the majority of the stake of the token still, so um, they would essentially just be empowered. And this thing I'm thinking about too, like because I know there's a fight going on between, I see a lot of the miners and stuff like that they're like, no, we're gonna just keep our Ethereum going, and we're not gonna, we don't consent to the Ethereum 2.0, the merge of everything that's going on. And so it's like all of those people who technically have the Ethereum 1 will also get Ethereum 2. And I wonder if they'll just kind of try and kill off the network or try and do something like that because of the tokens they have. Interesting dynamics that might play out.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some plays around like what I'm calling like Ethereum neoclassic, but it's basically like ETH1. And I do feel kind of bad's not the right word because the miners have known this was coming for a while. There's been so much talk about it, but there's just so much infrastructure. At the same time, it's like, of course, I would like the Ethereum network's energy usage to be reduced by 99.95%. That sounds great.
But yeah, that's it. You're right. But the infrastructure, as soon as you go from proof of work to proof of stake, the network is really governed by the tokens, and hopefully there's people running those nodes for transactions. Like there's what's the I don't understand that either too. Actually, what's the incentive then for a node, other than if you hold a whole bunch of tokens already, to operate on the Ethereum 2.0 model? I'm not sure if I heard that anywhere actually, or seen that.
I think there is some incentive, right? Like, so there's a few, there's some options here. I'm not quite sure what, like, so there's an option, right, where you have to have staked like 32 Ethereum at least. And then there's another option where you don't have to stake that much.
Yeah, you gotta stake at least 32 Ethereum to run a validator node.
So even more centralization. The people who own the nodes will be the people who have to originally started with all of the the early day ICO tokens. Oh.
You know what I mean? Well, it's like how staking was made for Bitcoin, where staking originally came from. It was to decentralize the way the mining pools was distributing the rewards from the mining part, yeah? Because the creator of the mining pools could distribute their computational power to whoever they wanted to, that was inside their pool that they created, like F2 pool and those kind of entities. Just like with even though they put staking inside it, depending on how much bitcoins you hold that you proved you can own, depending on how much rewards you receiving. So this, like how we've seen with proof of stake mechanism, is if you hold a lot of it, you surely gonna benefit more than the rest. And who holds the most Ethereum in that on that network? You know, a lot of them is, yeah, very questionable. Sus.
But really quickly, because I don't want to take us off topic on Ethereum too much, but I just read like a recent, probably of someone in this room, talking about how XRPL also likes to call itself, or something like no incentive, like it has no incentive in a way, like it's not proof of stake, it's not proof of work. And of course, I know that Ethereum is kind of both those things right now soon.
Now the network is unincentivized to run a validator. Yeah, you're not incentivized to make sure that that network is running good. Like how how you run a validator node, you're not paid to run a validator node. Actually, even when you're running a full history node, you're not paid to run a full history. You're not incentivized at that point. It just like yeah, just as simple as that. You're not incentivized to run a validator node to make sure the network's running okay. What you're doing is for your own benefit as well as the benefit of others, in a sense. So like a goodwill kind of gesture for you using the network and building on top of it. That's how I look at it as, and in real simple terms. But yes, you're not incentivized to run a validator node. You're like incentivized on proof of stake, or how you're incentivized for running a mining rig operation for mining Bitcoin and providing service for the security for the network. You know, what I mean, you're running a miner and you're staking to validate blocks and stuff like that. You're mining to create blocks, and you're getting paid to do that. You also can run a validator node on the opposite end and get paid for validating that block.
Right. So is it not the same thing now with this new Ethereum? Is like you could have your 32 ETH staked and have some incentives, or you could not have 32 ETH staked and do this out of goodwill.
So no. Here's the problem.
Well, you have to be doing some sort of real world business, right?
No.
Like, I mean, let's look at let's look at my business. Like, I spend it's my biggest expense is just simply the cost of payments. And it, if I could cut that by, I could probably cut that by into a tenth of what I currently spend if I did everything on Ledger. I mean, that's even probably generous. It's probably less than that, but still, like, I mean, you got to be doing a real business to justify the cost of running a server. I mean, it's just like, I justify the cost of running the server because I have to run the server in order to provide the service that we provide, because it's just how it's hello. That's how it works. I think when you look at running a validator, it's you gotta be doing like real world value creation, like where you got customers paying you and you can justify the expense of running this software and computer or whatever the hell, who cares. And
You speaking on Ethereum?
Yeah,
no, I'm just speaking in general, just like I don't care which network you're.
So
It
on the
doesn't matter.
XRPL, on the XRPL, you don't actually. I would say, do it for the business sake, because it doesn't profit you anyways. But for a node, for example, this is the other hand, because you submit usually if you have like a large business, or no, not large business, just a business, you can submit through the node and have less impact on others with your load, and you can provide better customer experience because you have your own infrastructure instead of relying on public.
Yeah, and they'll echo in Ethereum's case, going to proof of stake you can't just host up a node. You need 32 ETH.
You need 32, yeah, because this is the
You can't without it. And so that's where the security of the network is provided by the proof of stake and the validator nodes. But like my question is, like, where's the incentive though to do that? Like, what are you getting by 32 ETH? Are you receiving a percentage of that? So
yeah.
it's inflationary too, then, right?
I think so. Yeah. So it's I think you get around 5% or something.
Yeah.
As a reward.
Was because I thought it was supposed to become a deflationary asset in the sense, right? But if you're receiving a reward by holding it, then that means that there has to be inflation occurring. Because where are they taking those rewards from? If they're taking them from the fees, okay, but then the fee structure would go up if there's, not enough transactions occurring, or if there were more transactions. I don't know. It's I still have some questions actually, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's as you said. I think it's inflationary. It will be turning. I mean, right now, even Ethereum right now is, I think, inflationary.
Yeah,
because because
well, they put that IEP 1559, and that started burning a lot of ETH. Instead of rewarding it to the miners, it essentially just
yes. But it's still, I think, couldn't match it when it has, like, it highs at the highs. I mean, sorry, that to be that inflation, or it is maybe slightly, I don't know, but it's still not what they, I think, wanted.
Yeah, slightly deflationary with no max supply. I wonder if there's going to be a max supply now.
And also, when you have that Ethereum node with your 32 ETH, and for whatever reason you, I think, pass a transaction that is not good, or it's wrong, or whatever, it's not in consensus, you get punished, because this is how it gets secured, the network, punished by the stake that you put into with slashing. For example, you have 32 ETH. I don't know what's the penalty is, but they get you for that. So this is the issue.
It's not just the 32 ETH. It's the 32 ETH plus the hardware, plus the people that know how to run the hardware and configure it. I mean, at this point, you're at a couple $100,000.
Yeah, probably. I mean, 32 ETH right now is obviously less than when ETH was like 4 or 5K or something, right? I mean, but yeah.
I mean, like, I want to run hardware for stuff, and I'm trying to sort of get that arranged. But like,
I think. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to.
I'm just saying it's more expensive than you think. I mean, you got to have. First off, there's not that many people out there that really understand this stuff, and that's legitimate.
For me personally, it would be mostly also the penalty thing. I think this is why many will. I think they put to, like, you have 32 ETH. Like, there will be also these pools, like pool nodes or something, so the risk gets distributed, or there's, like, quote unquote insurance for this. I don't know how this is, but this is a topic because of the slashing. Like, if
watch them create companies to bring staking pools, like how they do with the Bitcoin. That's what I'm thinking that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's like F2 pool. Someone like them is gonna step in and be like, "Oh, we're gonna create a validator node." So because a lot of these people can't afford, there's just in case people can't afford that. You know what I mean? So bring pooling all these people together.
Where does the cut go? Like, are they taking a cut from a bad note and rewarding it to a good note? Like, are they?
I don't know. This is a good question.
Is that where your
No, I think the miners get the. I think the miner, that's the revenue model of the miners, and I think this is probably a bad market design.
Yeah, but I think he meant the penalty, right? The slashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, where does it go? It's a good question. Like,
That
is it?
that I don't know.
Another thing,
It's like how the fees for the miners, how the fees they gotta pay, or the fees we pay
well, like
when we transact on
you,
there. Yeah,
you need a node needs 32 ETH, right? What if
Mhm.
you 32 ETH in node and then you get slashed and you go down to 31.9?
Then you're not the node anymore.
You're not- that's crazy, right? I gotta read up more on that. I haven't really deep dived in that thing because I mean, it has been prolonged for how many years already. So every
Yeah.
time I would try read up on it, it would just automatically change again.
I mean, for that fact alone, I wouldn't run one, right? Because let's say I have 32 ETH, like why would I risk like my 32 ETH for like a mistake in the validator or whatever? Like I mess up and then I don't know what the slashing is. Like let's say I don't know what percentage, but any percentage would be like
So do you lose that ETH if
you lose
you
it. Yeah,
have
yeah,
a
definitely.
faulty validator, or if your validator isn't good? Do you lose it,
Yeah,
or
but
you just won't reap any kind of rewards?
I think the slashing is like they take it from the stake that you put in. I'm pretty sure, like the 32 that we mentioned. But what the criteria is exactly, for example, what is a criteria to get slashed? I don't know. Like, what is a malicious transaction? Like, you process a transaction of someone trying to double spend. Is this then I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, could it be? Because I know once you have a server, you can technically, if you have enough memory and you have enough RAM, you can build other stuff on that same server and incorporate it through a web page or an application. So maybe there's certain things that people are doing that are red flags to Ethereum or something. Because there's a lot of people that they build APIs and they bring all
Oh
this
yeah, they
code.
can, they can. So they will be penalized if they have gone offline, failed to validate, or attest to malicious or bad transactions for the slashing. So it's coming
So
from their stake, from the 32 ETH that stake from that stake from what
Damn. You need also probably to stake a bit more, right? Like,
Close to 70,000 just to test it out and make sure that you run it good.
well, is it though? Because like, what's ETH 2.0 cost? I don't know. It doesn't exist.
good point. Good point.
or even says right here. So if you're only online for 2/3 of the year, you're still profitable as a validator. But if you're going to lose some funds, you're going to get ejected from the network, and then your ether is locked in there, not earning anything until you can withdraw in the future.
What the
That's
fuck?
wild.
Rather buy NFT. So it's
Man, all of this information just makes me want to continue with my Flare server because they just seem a lot more reasonable than everybody else. I don't see anybody else really kind of trying to make an Oracle series, and that FTSO is true for everybody.
The economic arrangements that the Flare has designed are, at least in my opinion, very well designed. They put incentives where the operator of whoever's being incentivized, doing whatever it is they're doing, is actually benefiting the network. So the incentive should create like a positive feedback loop because the incentives are beneficial and they're aligned to the network, right? So then the network gets stronger. So then the people providing those assets like data feeds and whatnot to the net to the network or smart contracts or what have you, they get it, and it should feed. It should. I I'm pretty sure Flare is going to be a beast.
And why do you run one? Really cool.
So at the moment,
No,
I'm in the middle of verifying my. I run it through AWS because I wanted to test everything out first. So yeah, I technically do have a Flare server. I'm in the process of installing all the packages to run the FTSO. But yeah, I'm
And if you get an FTSO up and running, just let me know because I'll there's only a certain amount that are able to be on that United list, and so I'll definitely advocate because I've wanted to do one myself. I just have no idea how to do it, but that's cool. That would be awesome. I'll definitely try and help out.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna let people know once I get it up and running. I'm also trying to verify if there's other things that I can build around it, like more lucrative. Like trying to get more. I don't want to just get data prices. I want to kind of incorporate a bunch of other stuff. But
Well,
yeah, I'll definitely I'll keep people more up to
there,
date as we progress.
I mean,
there should be there should be other all sorts of other types of FTSOs that have nothing to do with other like crypto networks and like price feeds and whatnot. Because all sorts of data. I mean, think of how much data there is in the world. There's all sorts of like real time data that should be supplied to the Flare network, right? And then you can build your smart contracts, and you have this data as a sort of an input, like an input, and yeah, that's a very desirable outcome.
and I don't know what I don't know what your plan is, but if you could build a DAT man and get it ready for Flare, other than being an FTSO, you'll be able to have all of the F assets, right? And be able to do something with that, and as well as if you can tap into the state connector then as an FTSO, so you can provide multiple functions.
I know you're talking about FTSO, but this is wild for the validator slash. So so once you are slashed, it will immediately see a penalty and will continue to incur penalties for the next 36 days until they can exit, and also receive a one-time penalty at day 18 in the 36-day period. The amount slashed is also influenced by the number of validators who are also found to be guilty of slashable offenses. So it's not just a one-time thing. You're getting slashed every time you're penalized. That's wild.
On
Sorry.
Ethereum or a different
Yeah.
chain?
No,
Sorry.
that's the ETH 3.0 or the merge, the slashing part. If you get penalized and slashed as a validator.
Sorry, what was that 808? Can you say that again?
So if you get slashed as a validator, this is certain things will be happening. The slash validator is going to be forced to exit the beacon chain 36 days in the future. But within that 36 days, you will immediately see a penalty, and then you will continue to incur penalties for 36 days until you can exit the beacon, the beacon chain, and also receive a one-time penalty at day 18 within the 36-day period. The amount slashed is also influenced by the number of validators who are also found to be guilty. Crazy.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like proof of stake, right? How do you ensure stake, right? How do you ensure the stake of the validator nodes?
Very strict. So this is like literally
Just to bring it back, before I interrupted.
No, you're all good, man. Trust me, I love Excel, man. I can get trapped into an Excel spreadsheet for hours. It's like you just keep yeah, dude, it days I've been trapped into an Excel spreadsheet. Weeks, actually. I mean, there's been some things I've done that I don't know. You get it in your head, and the thing is, if you stop, right, then you lose all that kind of RAM, to use a computer analogy, in your head. And so you're better off to just keep going, because if you like go off and do something else and change your mind and like what have you, then you lose all that information. And then when you come back to like work on it again, it takes you so much, because you got to like remember, like rethink out all the stuff that you were thought of the original time. And yeah, like it's better off to just knock it out. Like, just stick with it until you're done. Because I'm telling you, dude, you get into building some of these models, you can't. There's a lot of moving parts, and you really gotta you get the, you know what I mean. You gotta, like, sometimes in some of these conversations, actually, I do this. Like, you got to get a lot of moving parts in your head, and then you can see them and how they connect to each other and this kind of stuff. Because when you're modeling something out, you're basically modeling out the connections, right? So you got to see each individual thing for whatever it is, and then you got to see, like, okay, how does that thing impact the other things, right? But then you got to also see the other things and how they impact the other things. So you start trying to model this shit out, and it's like, dude, it's a bunch of stuff you got to keep floating around in your head. And when you like, say take a break or something, like, dude, it's all gone. And then when you pick the project back up again, you gotta remember like all these different aspects and their interconnectivity. It's just better off to just trudge through, like, just keep going and just get the thing. Once you got all that shit in your head, just keep going until you're done. And I feel sometimes like there's concepts that come up in these conversations. I feel like that's the way. Because there are some things that are discussed in these conversations that are relatively sophisticated. And yeah, anyway.
I wanted to share something, but I think I missed that.
Go ahead.
It's about so there's something up to date with what is it? Tornado Cache or the Mixer?
Yes, Tornado Cache. There's banned in
Tornado Cache. It's banned in the United States. Very weirdly, like if you are 6 degrees or so, near that, like 6. I think it's called 6 degrees in terms of 6 transactions away from one, then you're still considered like, in effect, let's say, you the person you interact with was immediately interacting with previously with Tornado Cache, then you're kind of
Yeah, because because Tornado Cash is being said that it's being used by the North Korea to launder money through. So
yeah, no, it's true. It's absolutely true.
So you're
But
associated with evading sanctions. That's like life in jail.
For people who don't know, so Tornado Cash or a mixer in general is like you put your funds in, and it's kind of like what is it? I forgot the name for the VPNs. What is it?
Well, you could put it like a exchange that kind of just trades around your assets, right?
Yeah, like the Tor system, right? And it as you said, it trades around, right?
Yeah, but the transactions are still all on chain. But the thing is it does little amounts very fast all over the place. It kind of mixes things around so that it's just it would just take a ton of computation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes like a lot of time just to follow that up. So it's still trackable, obviously, but it's just takes so much time, and hopefully you gone after that or whatever the plan is. But
what was that? What was that one? I mean, they're still around. The one company that did the mixing and all this.
There's a couple.
It was a whole blockchain. Like they were their layer one.
Well, I guess it's like Monero.
Yes, that one. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
it's still around, but yeah, I mean, like things like that, I don't think will exist for very long. They already broke Monero anyway, but at least that's what the NSA said. But
Wow, I didn't know. I'm reading up on that right now on Tornado Cash,
yeah,
and it says here that since 2019, I mean, just 3 years, under 3 years, Tornado Cash has allowed cyber criminals to $11 billion.
Tornado Cash is the go-to. Like always when people hack something or whatever, get funds from an illegal source, malicious way, your go-to is immediately Tornado. I mean, it's like go immediately there.
it's a shame. I'm in.
Sounds like a big washing machine.
Yeah, it's a washing machine. Yeah,
It's a washing machine. Yeah, I'm in. Go.
nice.
And listen, anybody in the audience, if you guys have any questions, want us to break down anything further about anything that's been talked about, or want to come up and ask your own questions, please feel free to hit the request. And if I could ask if you could follow us at ledgerscale on Twitter, turn the notifications on so you know we're going live. And also, if you hit that little chat window at the bottom there, it gives you the opportunity to like the space, and apparently Twitter really likes that for the algorithm. So if you could do that, it helps out.
Yeah, and we definitely appreciate everybody showing up. I mean, I think that, and the questions and the curiosity of the crowd is what is really fueling our efforts here. So I think that's good.
Tony, do you want to pin something up? Because I'm looking like where is a good article about the
For Tornado Cash.
Yeah, about the 2 days. I mean,
Yeah, I can pin it up right
people
now. I
yeah.
found something from Yahoo. I'll pin it up so people can take a look at it. Man,
Because
but
Tornado?
$7 billion, that's a lot of money, man.
It was a cumulative result between the NSA and the CIA that tracked down all of this to get that variable number.
And that's probably just an estimate because there's some stuff that you just cannot track.
Wait, Death Ranger, what did you say?
The agencies behind this that said that they've come to this understanding of what's going on is the NSA and the CIA.
So they said to ban it.
What'd you say?
What did they track exactly? You said something with a number.
Well, this is where they got that number from. That 7.
Oh, yeah.
It's their search bills.
Yeah.
Where the agencies that have found this information.
Well, don't forget FinCEN. I mean, FinCEN is the like unpopular sort of intelligence agency, but you know,
There's a bill in Congress right now. It's being proposed by some congressmen about giving shit. Is it FinCEN or the one of those organs more jurisdiction over crypto than the SEC?
It's like the last bill that they just released the other day. Yeah, forgot there was another bill that they kind of. That's you bring up another thing that they just passed, this bill for $780 billion yesterday in the United States, the Inflation Fighting Act. It's going to put a pressure on other countries now because we're going to create more inflation, and so interest rates will have to go up. And
Man, there's people that actually believe that too, man. That this is supposed to help inflation.
how? Just
I live in California, so I mean that
Yeah.
tells you everything.
I mean, it's really tough because let's imagine you want to help folks, right, who on the bottom end, but if you help them, you kind of drown them more, you know. But it's it's really
Well,
difficult.
people always automatically when you tell them, oh, here's free money, that's all they care about, free money. They don't care about what's going to cost them. They don't care about the specifics behind the curtains. They don't care about any of that. They just look at, oh, free money, give me free money. And then when they see gas prices double in price, when they see food prices skyrocket 40% in a month, then they're like, oh, but what happened? Oh, it's all Russia's fault.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they blame it on Russia. They don't look at the $4 trillion that's been printed out.
I would throw that in the bus or in the under the bucket or in the bucket of time shifting value exchange, right? So this is in the crux of a lot of financial thinking is you time shift value. Yeah, it falls into that bucket. You know, they take a little value now, we'll deal with that later, this kind of thing.
I pinned something at the top from someone I always highly value, like his thoughts on certain things, and how he describes that exactly that, right, with populism and the human desire of fairness, which is good, which I'm totally in favor of, but it's weird, but because especially in this incident, it's like you hurt more, right, when you help. So it's very weird, but it's a fact.
I don't know. I think it's as this market matures, it'll be interesting to see how some of these companies develop into the because they're gonna end up, I guarantee it, they're gonna end up in the moving value across time business. I just watch. It's gonna happen.
You know what I'm afraid of personally? If we don't get just rid of inflation, even if we hang on in a recession or whatever, like we stick with inflation for this decade, because these decades are usually lost, right?
Inflation is good, right? Because if we have the creation of more people, there needs to be more money.
Yeah,
natural. But with digital currencies, stable coins, CBDCs, reevaluations become revaluation. It becomes real easy, in the form of a negative interest rate, or say, here you have $100. Well, we're going to give you $1 for every $100 you have. I mean, and we're going to say it has the same value, right? I mean, like all of these kind of things in a digital format are actually kind of easy to be kind of programmed in. So I think the capabilities, or even the thought of like inflation, deflation, I mean, it'll be all a very easily controllable in real time aspect when we're all completely 100% digital. And so I don't know necessarily if it really matters, but right now it does for sure. I mean, the moment we're in an inflationary moment uh, with high interest rates, and it's damaging the rest of the world. Sorry if that makes sense what I said.
Yes, absolutely.
It's all a figment of our imagination. But no, we got like 10 more minutes left, guys. If anybody has questions, any topic they'd like to bring up in the last couple minutes, please feel free to come up and ask away. And Echo, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So you on microphone.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything like big to say. I guess I just listening to a podcast. It's probably like Bankless or Unchained or something like that. It's probably Bankless. And they had a guest on talking about how there's a chance that we'll be going through like a deflationary stage as well, given that the euro recently, the dollar and the yen around game, and that maybe we didn't go far enough with inflation yet, which I just thought was an interesting perspective. My dad, who's a finance professor, was like, nah, not the case. But yeah, I think it's something worth like exploring actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's this interesting factor where you think about like, does that inflation, right? Well, inflation matters to the rest of the world way more than it actually even matters to us because, well, we're the world's reserve currency. We're the only ones that can print a dollar. We can control that by printing more. But when we print more and their dollars are based on our dollar, it kills them because the other countries, they either have two choices. Let the entire country burn, or inflate until they have nothing left, and then the country burns. Either way. So
We export inflation.
yeah.
People don't think about this, but it's one of our biggest exports is actually inflation.
I kind of want to cry when he's like that.
I mean, it is what it is. Yeah.
And this is relative to that 21st century Triffin dilemma that we're stuck in right now. But I mean, it'll go on until the rest of the world says, nay, no more. We can't take this anymore with having the dollar as the world's reserve currency. At least in my opinion.
Well, eventually folks will push back, but we're nowhere near that. That's we're off. I mean, that's decades off. At least in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Who cares? But I mean, we definitely export inflation. It's one of these things people don't. If you,
it's interesting because I think that we do lose the world reserve status in a short period of time, in a matter of a couple of years, but we don't lose the export of inflation because I still think even if we weren't the world reserve currency, a lot of other countries would still try and use the dollar because of the liquidity of the markets and financial structure of the United States.
well, what's even the definition of reserve currency? To me, it's the currency with the most flow, right? The most liquidity, the deepest liquidity, whatever. So at the current moment, the US dollar runs 70% roughly of the global flow. Yet the US is only 20% of the global economic activity. So I mean, you've got triple the amount of flow. I mean, unless that changes, I don't know. Like, what else? I mean, how else would you judge or characterize a global reserve? I'm not really sure. I would think it would be the most flow, but who the hell am I, right? I wasn't trying to like kill the chat, but
You're good. I'm sorry. I just had a yawn. I was just tired. Long day. It's hot out. Hot out again.
Same.
Another 95-degree day today.
Wow.
What is it over in? You're in Israel, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hot days, very great, cool nights. You know, you could walk around like a t-shirt, shorts and stuff. Breeze. Just walked in my apartment and it's like warmer in here, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, you know, curious to see how the next few days play out. The market is sort of stabilizing and definitely curious what's going to happen in the next few days with the Ethereum potential merge, as well as all the other, currencies, protocols. So look forward to our next meeting and hopefully see everyone on Wednesday as well. We have 3 guests, including Nifty and Pure Cat. So
Nifty.io.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and for everyone that was wondering, Echo Mint NFT hosts uh, all about XRP spaces, where she has a couple guests on every Wednesday from 3 to 5 Eastern Standard.
And always looking for more guests and subjects that people want to talk about too. So I appreciate, like, we don't really get into economics as much. So it's great to be in ledgerscale space always.
yeah, I mean, appreciate you
Thank you.
joining.
Yeah, I thank you for coming today. We need more women in the crypto community in general, and in the spaces and talking, and it's nice to hear a female's opinion and different perspectives and stuff. And that's also why I like everybody coming out for different perspectives.
That'll come with time. It's if you watch industries develop, that'll come. There's going to be a lot more women in the future in this industry. And it'll ultimately get to probably around the 50% mark, which is relative to population, right? Like, it'll come.
The growth has been amazing, though. There's people coming into this space over these past years. Like for me, I've been in this space a long time, but I have never been like I'm new to like Twitter and shit. Like
It's not a Twitter thing. It's like it's not a Twitter thing. It's just
yeah.
what
I think he might be rugged, Karma. You there?
yeah, out on me. It's not a Twitter thing. It just for some reason I don't know. It when you watch industries develop, they tend to be male oriented in the beginning. Then you start getting your females. Then things start going mainstream. Then you start getting an even balance of male and female, and everything is just fine. It just seems to be the way it
Yeah, I was
goes.
talking like in a general sense, the growth of the space, how it grew and how much more people has been coming in, how diverse it is. Even in these talks, in these forums, in these Twitter spaces we have, it started to get more and more people coming in and talking, and there's more spaces going out there. You got Too Cold out there. That what she's doing, like before, never have all this and all these a lot of these different people creating these different spaces for people to talk and share their ideas and make it where people feel comfortable. You know what I mean? That's also too, a lot of the earlier spaces people weren't too comfortable because how the people that was
Yeah,
hosting and how they treated others, you know what I mean? That was very tribalistic in a way.
I agree. Some people get aggressive and all this stuff. I think that's not really beneficial. And I think it's actually, I mean, we've discussed this actually. I think it's beneficial to have more uh, female people engaged in the conversations. It's a good sign that the industry is going like well, right? I mean, you if you just have it really is, and I know that sounds maybe probably like a bad thing, but it really is. It's a oh, what's the term?
Now,
What is it?
I know what you mean, Karma. I kind of know what you mean. What we have now, with the amount of quality and the unique information and perspective that they bring, I can imagine when we level the playing field and just the amount of insight and intelligence that is going to come with more females in the space. Because with the females that we have now, you know, we can mention a couple of them, but I don't want to go into details. But there's a
No,
lot of female in this space that bring really really good quality. I can only imagine when, like I said, it's level playing field, and there's a lot more.
well, it's not just a level playing field. I mean, I don't think anybody, at least I don't want anybody in here being talked down to or whatnot. But it's there's like so the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation did a whole bunch of research, years, multiple cultures, blah blah blah. Right? At the end of the day, the result of the research, the outcome, the conclusion of the research was that when women are in control of the family purse, the family is more stable, right? Men take more risk. So men might go out and, do something crazy, and maybe they create, like, get lucky or something and have like a big win, right? But in all likelihood they're going to lose their ass. So women create more stable situations in terms of like money management.
Let's just say it. Women are better than men. No, but but I just want to thank everybody for coming to this space, right? Because we wouldn't be hosting these if it wasn't for everybody finding them valuable, and I find valuable everybody else's opinion who likes to come up and speak. I just thank you, everybody, and love you guys, and hopefully see everybody tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, and just I guess we'll wrap up here, but none of this is financial advice, and the speakers here are not representing. I mean, even though I have gotten to know a lot of you guys, like, you're not speaking on behalf of ledgerscale Foundation, but we do appreciate your participation and questions, and yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Well said.
Aloha,
Thank you, everybody,
everybody.
for coming.